Hello, my beauties. Yes, I am live. Hello, hello, hello. Sorry for the delay. Um, Setting up as an artist, as a picky person, and then a spontaneous person, those two things don't go together, right? So it's been an interesting day. Happy Sunday. And I know it's a long weekend, but I don't actually know what the holiday is. Um, it's Memorial Day. Guys, tell me, I think this is a long weekend in the US. So, coming to you from Sardinia, Italy, and messy table, which I'm not going to show you. And you guys are propped up in a fake plant, like they like to do in Airbnbs. You know what I'm talking about. So you're like sitting in the midst of the green fakery. So how are you guys doing? And I got my laptop right here. So welcome. Yeah, guys, I am so sorry. I can see the numbers going up now. Hold on. Yes. Oh, so jump right in. Say hello, say hello, say hello, say hello. And then what I might do is something that Steph Perry recommended, which is I might cut off the very first part of the video where we're just chatting and leave the rest. So you guys in the replay, um, I lose the numbers then. It doesn't show those who watched it live, but I probably will do that. So, but do say hi. Hey, Gregory. And again, I'm looking here because that's where I can see hey, yeah, how are you doing? What's going on? Long time no see. Who else is here? So I am using StreamYard, which is right there. And if you're interested, I think there's a link below where you get like 10% off if you're a YouTuber or whatever you want to live stream to your mom or something. You can use StreamYard, which is nice because as you can see, I can put like comments up. Yeah, say hello, greetings, how are you doing? It's nice to kind of start that way. All right, so I'm nervous because, like I said, it's weird to be a perfectionist and yet spontaneous because perfectionists usually plan a lot, and I did not, to be really honest with you. I didn't plan a lot for this video, but I was thinking about it a lot, thinking about honestly what I wanted to share with you guys, but I didn't like write a lot down. So it will have some spontaneity. So, hey, Gregory, how are you doing? Hey, I see the numbers going up because I am also trying to be regular, you guys. So, just to reiterate, those of you who are new to my channel, I'm an artist and a creative. And so for many, many creatives, it's hard for us to do things like routine, like, oh, I do this at 9 o'clock, every Tuesday or whatever. Artists tend to be more like that. So I have been being regular. So right away, the numbers are higher than typical right at the beginning. And we'll also let YouTube let people know. So what did I title this? And as always, I want to hear from you guys. Um, Here, so I wrote major shifts are happening. Well, that's a short title. Okay, I'm just looking at my thumbnail, which I really liked. Okay. This is like bright yellow, this warm sunny yellow. So my thumbnail says powerful astrology shift and it's time to take action. Okay. And again, to quote Stephanie Perry, I think in her latest video, she kind of said to people, what do you think is going to happen? Like, what do you think is happening? Now, her channel is very much about specifically, she's, very niche, is Black women taking sabbatical or retiring abroad, leaving the US. Okay. That's not my channel focus, but we definitely overlap some viewers. But I really do want to say it's time to take action, whatever action you're going to take, because, and here's why. So I'm going to report on some astrology to you guys. Now, remember, I'm not an astrologist. In this case, I'm like a reporter, and that's something that a YouTuber can do. They can be the expert. Okay, this isn't my expertise is not astrology, but I partake of, and I want to summarize a little bit of the astrology. And the reason I do give it importance, guys, is, as I've shared before, when I was going through a really, really hard time in my life, probably the most difficult time in my life, I would say. Um, Hold on, let me, okay, if you guys fall over, like I said, you'll just see a green blur. Okay. The hardest time in my life, I had left academia, I had left teaching, walked away from the teaching job, and, oops, okay, and my plug is a little bit weird, like the European plugs are different than the American plugs. So I had walked away from my teaching job and I was having a, I mean, I went homeless. Like as I would say, I was never on the street, but I literally didn't have a home and it wasn't like I was like a digital nomad. Okay, that didn't exist. And I didn't really believe in astrology particularly, except I was going through this and it literally felt like, you know, from the heavens I was being slapped. It just felt like this is like crazy, like everything's going wrong. And then I found out about something called Shani Sade. It has to do with the planet Saturn. That I was in a 6.5 year period, and I recommend you look this up if you're interested in this type of thing. It's a 6.5 or 7 year period where Saturn, and this is in Vedic astrology, Saturn just teaches you lessons. And I mean, it's just known, you know, in India, they do use it to like scare people. They'll be like, you know, you need to do this or something terrible is going to happen. But I read that and I was like, oh my God. And it correlated with what I was going through. Like the time that they said, okay, you've entered this period where Saturn just teaches you lessons. Okay. Are you guys with me? Do any of you follow? Ooh, let me go back. Know a bit about astrology? Gregory's life in. Hey, glass half full. Um, Thanks, Greg. Put that up there. Yeah, thank you. Um, so what I realized was Saturn, like I'm like, there's something to this. And I've said it before, I literally felt there was one point where I was moving out of this small, like, um, artists. It was like a cabin just built for people to do art in. It wasn't even built to have to live in. It had no bathroom. It had electricity. It had no real kitchen. I was like washing dishes in like a dish pan and getting water from an outdoor. Like it was really primitive. So there was one day where I just literally felt like there was this thumb, like the thumb of God. I know that sounds funny, but it felt like that pushing me down. And then I read about this thing with Saturn, or Shani, he's called. And again, it's to teach you lessons, but to make you stronger. Okay? Are you guys with me? And so ever since then, I started to pay more attention to astrology because I was like, this is real. This is happening. Okay. So this is what's going on now. And this is why I titled this that it's time to take action. So apparently the planet Saturn, because of course now I'm scared of Saturn, right? Saturn, you know, Saturn, I'm like, oh shit, it's the teacher. Saturn is supposed to, they personify Saturn in this type of astrology, and it's like, I believe it's like an old man, or he's just very stern, has very little pity or sympathy or compassion. It's just like, this is, you know, you need to learn, you need to go slow. Saturn is about going very slowly, methodically, and just working hard. So it was pushing me down. So just so you know that, Saturn is now going into Aries. Okay, so these are just some of the notes I wrote down. And Saturn and Neptune, which is a very different planet, right? I think it's like very dreamy, has to do with water. So there's stuff with that. Saturn and Neptune are in conjunction. And so all the astrologers that I've like was researching with are talking about there's definitely opportunities, but there are some real dangers. So I'm just going to tell you some of them. Um, Okay, in terms of Saturn moving into Aries, adventure, right? So Aries is like that warlike, has to do with Mars. So adventure, pioneering, but your self-identity becomes very important. So more about identity issues and each of us feeling like we want to take our stand, we want to really understand ourselves. What do we want to do? What's real for us? It's going to be very important. But conversely, there's going to be more rules, again, because of Saturn trying to control your expression, your identity. You get what I'm saying? So there's going to be conflict, okay? Um, Definitely potential of war, more conflict, but also with Saturn having a controlling aspect, it can also mean sort of control over war. Um, anyway, for me, I made the notes that um, huge career changes are possible, literally starting today. So starting today, right, that I'm filming this May 25th, three areas of for career are going to be really highlighted. And that's what I mean, guys. When I say them, you'll be like, whoa, that is weird, Viv. If you follow my channel and if you know me. Creative arts. So any sort of artistic expression is being highlighted, like going forward, not just today, but going forward, that you may want to shift into or bring it more to the fore, right? Healing arts, licensed massage therapist, kind of retired, let the license go, more teaching online about it, about the meridians and all that I talked to you about. So healing arts, whether that's being a dentist, whatever, and it could be scientific healing as well as more woo-woo healing and more spiritual healing, but the healing arts. And the third that's also highlighted now with Saturn going into Aries and conjunct Neptune is spiritual and religious ideas and teachings. So I was like, oh, great. It doesn't really help me decide what I want to do because I've never really, well, I haven't shared that much with you about this. Hi, Bee. Let me put your comment up. Those are literally the three areas that I am so like torn in. You guys know, I mean, I've shown my work. I was an art professor, so the creative arts. I kind of let that go after leaving academia and all the ugliness and the bullying. I kind of like just lost my creative, impetus, right? So that's one area. Then the healing arts, that's when I went into, you know, learning and studying massage and getting licensed and all of that. And that's where I get some of the Chinese medicine stuff I talked to you about and the acupressure, all of that. So it's just like I've woven these things together and I'm still trying to bring them all together. And then, of course, the spiritual dash religious. I think one of the astrologers was saying more people are now getting into Catholicism, right? Which very much is about structure, which is that Saturnian nature, right? Rules, structure, it's very clear, um, a lot of sense of discipline. So I don't know, it's just interesting. I just really think that and here I'm really talking to the women, especially who are interested in sort of the divine feminine and manifesting what you desire in your life. Those of you that are, that this is a time to take action, okay? That's, I just really want to emphasize that to you. And on that note, talk a little bit about divine feminine manifesting. You guys know I made a video about 5 weeks ago. I'd love for you to watch it if you haven't. It was called Live a Divine Feminine Life, 4 Steps. I want to talk about them a little bit and then go a little bit further and show you a card that I pulled today that I think is for all of us, okay? So I'm going to also pause a moment. This isn't really San Pellegrino. You guys, I told you how excited I was that they have this like faucet you go to here in Sardinia in this town, and you pay a little bit of money, but you don't just get water like tap water, though I think this is one of the things I liked about Italy. Apparently there were just like public drinking faucets everywhere, but they'd be like fountains, not like the fancy fountains, but for the public to have water, like, for like 100 something years or more. So I thought that was pretty cool. But this place, you can get your water, it's tested or whatever, because apparently Italians have some issue with their water. It's supposed to be fine to drink, but a lot of them don't drink it and they buy bottled water. I did have an issue, I'm not even going to get into it with that, with my Airbnb, because she's like, oh, we just don't drink the water. And I was like, water's not included. And she's like, oh, it's safe. We just don't drink it. Anyway, it has worked out. They're literally giving me bottled water now, like big bottles of water. But anyway, they have a place where you can go and just get also like seltzer water. And I just think that's so cool, right? Like out in the street, you just go and you pay a little bit of money and you get like, you bring your bottle and you get seltzer, which I think is so cool. So let me have a little bit of that. So Gregory's lifing, peace and wellness, to you as well, B, and Glass Half Full definitely said hi, that you are here. So, guys, what do you think about that? Just a little bit I just shared about the astrology. Like something's happening, okay? I wouldn't be hyped about it because I talk about it a little bit. It's not one of my major topics. But today I even felt like, okay, yeah, you need to talk more about, because several of you had expressed interest in me running, teaching you how to manifest what you want. And I'm always fascinated by people, not to be, I'm fascinated by people who are like, no, I'm good. There's nothing that I want, or they don't communicate any desire for change. So I'm going to be blunt with you. I think if we're not changing, we're stagnating. And some people, some spiritual teachers even say if change isn't happening, you're actually regressing. Okay, so I'm putting that out there. Question to ask yourself, are changes still happening for you? Are you allowing change? Okay? It's the first question just to ask. And I want to know. Let me know in the chat. So I'm looking at the chat here. I can see as things come in. Hey, if you're just joining, say hello, say hello, say hello. So I know you're here. I can see the numbers, and only 3 of you have said hello. Let's see. Yeah, glass half full. So how are you? How are you doing? And B, yeah, how are you doing? How is it going for you with everything that's going on? How are you feeling emotionally, mentally, emotionally? So I want to go over the how to manifest more, and I titled that video "How to Live a Divine Feminine Inspired Life." And there were 4 steps. The first was to really work with our anger and our frustration. Absolutely something I'm still doing. Because I have some people that, you know, definitely, I think that we all have karmic connections. What I mean by that is we have connections with people where we're like doing this dance together from past lives. Okay, that is one of my beliefs as a teacher, just so you know that. Hey, Christina, with my same last name. How you doing? How you doing? Christina Williams. Oh, which reminds me, how is oh gosh, they had locked her up and she was basically the woman who was taking all her money. Wendy. Okay, I'm going to try not to get distracted. Wendy Williams. Also sharing my name, right? We need to work on our anger because that blocks our creative flow energy. The second step we needed to do was work with fear. And I am definitely working with fear right now because, again, some of it I can't even feel like I can't even talk about because you guys, what I've been seeing on YouTube and on the news is that, you know, people randomly being stopped trying to go back into the US. Oh, let me look at your social media. I mean, just a lot of things that don't seem to fit with the concept of democracy in our nation and stuff. So definitely, I think fear in terms of manifesting anything is something we have to deal with. I wrote the third step in terms of living a more easeful life, right? So work with the anger, work with fear, and connect with our bodies. So especially for women, this is especially for women and men who are interested in um, healing the split between the masculine and feminine, which is not something I talk about. It's like meant for men as well, right? Connect with our bodies. So for women, I really was sharing with you guys that you need a practice where you tune into your body. That's why I emphasize meditation so much, where you tune in and feel your body, whether it's, oh, I feel tingling in my belly, or I feel like my throat is like tightening, like stuff like that. Or, a lot of times when emotion is coming up, and this happened to me recently, you can feel it in your throat. Give me a yes if you felt that. Like you feel your throat. It's like you have the emotion, the expression of the emotion, right? Throat chakra. The expression of it is kind of like, oh. So we want to feel our bodies, ladies, so that we have information. Okay, and I'll definitely put your comment up in a second. So we have information about what's going on. Okay, and then the last step to really living a life that's in flow is that intuition. But I think all of those things are important. First, Let me give you an example. If you're really angry with a family member or an ex-boss, and you have all these thoughts in your head and all these emotions that are like, going like this, it'll be hard for you to hear the subtle intuition. Okay? The voice of spirit, the voice of God, Goddess, okay? The voice of Great Spirit. So the intuition is the last sort of the culmination of releasing the anger and frustration. And that may mean pulling back from social, right? Like closing the gates, closing our sense gates. That's something we talk about in yoga. It just means literally like, yeah, what we look at, what we listen to, kind of closing, like, for safety, right? So don't listen to a lot of crap. Don't watch a lot of crap. Of course, you need to know. So that's the dance, right? So we can close off things that cause us anger and frustration. And like I said, you guys, that's hard for me as well, even though I know this. Um, I'm very sensitive. I know if I don't sleep well or I don't fall asleep easily if I watch certain things. But it is a challenge. It's basically, as I mentioned in a video for my members, it's spiritual warfare. There is spiritual warfare going on right now. All right? Meaning there are those who profit if they have your attention, and I mean big corporate like level attention. They profit, they make money when they can grasp your attention, and then they do affect your emotions, your thoughts, your ability to dream and have your dreams, right? So that's why I'm suggesting close some of the sense gates, okay? Cut down on um, some of the consumption. Okay, let me know if you guys are doing that. And like I said, I'm going to look at your comments in a second. So, really important if you want to feel better, then really seeing the fear, working with the fear, connect into our bodies. And that may mean feeling the fear, feeling the anger, feeling the frustration. Okay, that's not bad. You want to know where this is lodged in your body. And notice I use the word lodged, right? And then finally sort of clearing it and starting to do practices to get more in touch with your intuition. So I'm going to take, if you have any comments at this point, definitely share, okay, in the chat live. Replay folks, please, in the comments, okay? And then I want to talk to you about this card that was pulled for today and just share it with you, share the imagery with you because I think it's very this is from the Starseed deck. It's almost kind of shamanic. Looking at it can help you kind of feel that energy. All right. So maybe, right. Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, I do remember now that you had shared that you were in a shelter situation. And I remember, yeah, I remember giving some advice. That's maybe 5 or 6 weeks ago. Looking at Bee's comment, she says, I'm okay. Me and my two daughters will be leaving the shelter in San Antonio, Texas on Friday. Okay, that's great. Wow. I actually can feel like pressure in my throat just as I read your comment. And I think a little bit of sadness I'm picking up on there. Um, okay. Well, can we just as a community, there are 14 of us here right now, can we just put B in our thoughts and prayers? I'm going to just really briefly imagine that you're sitting in a circle with the other beings that are watching this now or in the future. Take a breath in and just, if we can, collectively do a prayer for her well being. In whatever way you like, go ahead and do that now. And just feel that this energy moves through the circle and is amplified by each of us doing this, right? It's not just you, it's not just me. Okay, so it is. So be. I hope you receive that and it will continue to flow to you as other folks watch this video. Um, yeah. Okay. Yeah, it sounds like you may want to cut down on some, because whether it's true or not, a lot of that is really disturbing stuff, right? We're not even going to talk about AI and its capacities, and that the inventors really of AI are already warning that we need regulation and already saying it's doing things a little differently than we could have even expected. Okay, these are the people who invented it are saying that about AI, and yet there's no kind of collective. I think it's actually even more important than some of the other things that are getting more attention because the ramifications are bigger. Okay. We're not even sure how AI will interact as it interacts with other multiple AIs that we're all sort of setting loose out in the world. We don't really know how they'll interact together and what, because it learns so quickly, right? Machine learning. We, I'm just going to state to you guys, my worry is, I forget I was reading, it's like it learns, like 10,000 years of information. Like it just, the pace at which it can learn, if humans need to stop it, we do not have that mental capacity to outsmart it. And so I'm like, and I've said this before, I want to know what you guys think of this analogy. It's like what humans have done with AI is created picture of making an artificial baby, but you made that baby not the size or intelligence of a human baby. You created a baby that is like 40 foot tall, incredibly powerful, has the ability to read minds, you know, scanning things at such a rate that it's like magical, right? You've created like a child monster that you literally have no clear ability to control, and you've set it out in the world, and it's walking around in the world now. So I think that's something that we should actually be more worried about than even many of the things that we are preoccupied with. And I say that as an intuitive person, hoping though that, and I do believe that there are beings that are here to help us, that may be, again, more intelligent than we humans are, which I don't think is actually that hard, that may intervene or in some way keep this sort of worst case scenario from developing. I want to share with you also really briefly something I read in a reputable, which again, it's going to be harder to know in the future, that China did reach out to the US and say, you know what, are you interested in coming to the table and all of us together working to slow down AI, literally, right? Like, could we all the world agree that we share information about AI, or like that we kind of, and what this article said is the US was like, no, we're not gonna work with you, you're China. So it's basically like the nuclear arms race. It's the same thing, right? They're armed. Okay, so we've got to arm. Oh, wait, they're getting stronger. Oh, we've got to get stronger. So that's kind of where we are right now. This is not off track. This is going to be something that will affect us. Okay. Yeah, a lot of the Diddy trial. Okay, you're probably watching. I know, I know. I had to stop on the Diddy trial, folks, because um, you know, yeah, what more ugliness do I need to know, right? It'll break through, I'm sure, if as more ugliness comes out. Men are being feminized. Yeah, I don't quite know what you mean by that because I don't know that I really agree with that. I actually see a lot of bro culture sprouting up, and I think the thing of men supposedly being feminized is used, in fact, to spark different movements that I see having really, you know, oppressive effects on most humans. So yeah, I don't know specifically. If you have something very specific on that, it'd be interesting. But yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, who else is here? Comment, comment, comment. Oh, Christina. I think I had said hi. Hey, Christina. Yeah, it's draining. Well, yeah, you're dealing with homelessness and you had 3 cats at your old apartment. Where are the 3 cats? You guys know, oh, I want to tell you, my cat Percival was listed on the ASPCA site. Um, I spoke with them. I think I told you guys, 2 people called me. My ASPCA is amazing. Um, I will give them more money. I think they're fantastic. Volunteer called me, and then like the director or like the assistant director called me, and they were literally getting him ready to be adopted because he had some dental issues and so on. So I have not checked again yet since I last checked to see if he's been adopted. But I felt better. Um, as you know, someone had scared me by saying, anyway, it's not even worth getting into, but they basically scared me by saying he wasn't at the ASPCA at all. And I was like, okay, can we just, let's just calm, let's just calm it down. Okay. Okay. Let's just bring it down. So this is the card I want to share with you. Portal. Yeah, you guys here, hold on. All right. So this figure walking into this subtly psychedelic space, right? And it says doors are opening, you decide, rewards, wild card. So I beg you, those of you who are vibing with me, what are you creating? Let's talk about manifestation. Do you agree with my 4 steps in terms of getting into more flowing life? That is more aligned with the divine feminine? Let me know. And I want to put this link up. Let me put this link up. Okay. Let's see if I think I have to copy it again. Go here and tell me which name you like. Hold on, you can do it right now, actually. Go to my channel for my program. Okay, so we'll keep talking about these major shifts. Really, really are happening. So if you go to my post page, right? You go to my home page, and then you go to my post page. Currently, I have a poll. This is what the poll is. I'll just briefly walk you through it. So the name of my um, class that I'll be doing on manifesting, because definitely, like I said last time, I had some great goddesses in here who were like, I am now interested, Viv. Like, I want to manifest. I want to create. We are creators. There's a huge channel called that. You should check them out. We are creators. We're here, I believe, well, of course, to love, to learn, to heal, and to grow. Okay, so this is my question for you. Which name do you like better? And I gave 4 names. Now, right now, the one that's winning is aligned and abundant, feminine flow for fulfilling your vision. The one I liked, which is not the one that's winning, is, hold on. Yeah, no, it's in like 3rd place. The one that I liked. Title was Dreams to Destiny, From Longing to Having. I still really like that. I'm like, why is that not vibe with everybody? Dreams to Destiny, right? So from like fantasy or, you know, aspirational to actual destiny, like it's happening, and from longing for whether it's the partner, the amount of money, the house, the area, the health, the children, from longing to having. So that's my favorite. I'm just telling you. So please go vote, and I'm going to put it in the chat right now. Let me put it again. Okay, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Okay, YouTube at Yoga Bliss Dance /community. All right. Please go click on that now, even. Okay. Hey, Celestial J. Hey, welcome. How are you? How are you doing? Where are you coming in from, Celestial? That door, yeah, look at that. Well, no, there's no, that's so interesting. You said that. Looks so lucid. There's no actual door. There's an archway, but there's no door. That's interesting. You read it as a door. Because look, she's going through, and it's a gate. It's almost like those of you who know Washington Square Park. There's an arch, so there's no actual. I don't read that as a door in any way. It's a portal. Okay. Let me turn on the. I do have to say I am loving the European air conditioners. They're much quieter. Turn it down. Okay, go ahead and cool me fast cool. Watch. In 1 minute, I'll be complaining that it's cold. And it's 21 degrees centigrade, which I have no idea what that is in Fahrenheit. But yeah, I like that. I like the word lucid that you did use, B. But yeah, it's a portal to step into, right? And again, the card is like doors are opening. You decide. Rewards, wild card. Okay, this is a time where I'm being told that spirit is there to support us in whatever change we want to do, which is why, let me tie it together. That's why I got so excited about the astrology is I pulled cards today. And I was like, wow, okay, definitely, and also a card of triumph, of public acknowledgement. And, you know, like I said, and this card came up. Let me show you some of the others. Let me show you some of the others that are beautiful. Some of the Oshun cards that came up are Oshun of soft power. Isn't that beautiful? I feel like that image is so springy. It just makes me think of spring. And it's talking about using our like soft power, influence, openness, emotional intelligence. So, because I do tend to be like a direct person, and so this card is about being a little more strategic and just soft about what you're wanting to, you know, how you're communicating. So, soft power, right? And then this one also, Oshun's honey pot. Let me put that up. And that is, wait, sacred pleasure, sensuality, and self love, which you know are increasingly my thing, right? So in order for us as women to manifest, we do the 4 steps I talked about. And then there are like practical techniques. And actually, that is what I wanted to share with you. Let me get the sheet that I want to share with you. And this is actually the meat of what I wanted to present, or the tofu of what I wanted to present to you. Let's see. Okay, guys. Like I said, now I'm cold, so now I gotta turn it down. Okay, there. It's like super quiet. What I suggest, goddesses, get some pen and paper here. What I suggest you do, and this was important enough to me subconsciously, and I have shared some of this before, but again, this will be fresh for a lot of you, and or did you already do it? What I shared, and I'll just sort of hold it. Yep, you can see it there, right? All the colors. What I suggest, so get a pen, and this could be helpful for you. I know you are in definitely like a root chakra, uh, vacuity is the word that comes to me, right? As I said, I have gone homeless and had to be like in temporary housing. Again, never like literally having to live on the street. I think like I just myself, if I physically had the capacity like that, wouldn't happen. You know what I'm saying? Like I'd find some way, and I did, to like not be on the street. In fact, I think that was the first time that I did house sitting. But yeah, it's like root chakra issues for you, like that, just security, survival. Um, you need to like really work with that. Um, so, but anyway, for all of us, the rest of us, so what this sheet is I wrote down every way that I have manifested in the past. I'm just going to go through that. Hey, Christina, you like that one? Thank you. Christina, go vote, please. Please, I need people on my side with the name that I want to name my own program. B, thank you. Thanks, that is so sweet. All right, so you guys really try this. This is like I said, this is the protein. This is the protein of the video, okay? Um, think back to when you have manifested, when something happened that was what you desired, it came through sort of magically or unexpectedly, or with a certain ease. And again, we know when it's magical. There's the masculine way is the very step by step, very methodical, just work really hard, hustle. We all can do that, men and women, non binary, we can all do that. The feminine approach is, which is not as valued, is more about some people say magnetizing. I had an issue with that because what I want and what I'm going to teach you in the class, I have to kind of set up the time still, and I want to get your ideas. I don't want us to feel that things are outside of us. So I don't even so much like magnetizing, right? Because right, magnetizing is like it's out there and I'm going to pull it. So I don't love that as much, but I, even with the name for the classes, I'm trying to say it's more about embodying it. And as I just said that, a bird just went right by the window and went back up to the roof. So yeah, the birds are always speaking to me. So what I'd love for you to do right now is write down 3 or 4 times in your life one sentence like what you manifested where you knew it was manifestation. It wasn't like I just worked really really hard and I got it. Right? That's not really manifestation, guys. Okay, do you agree with me? Let me know. How do you define manifestation? Actually, put it in the chat and then I'll put it up on screen. How do you define manifestation? Because manifestation isn't like, oh, I went to medical school and then I got a job as a doctor. Okay, that's like you did the steps, right? Which is still amazing, right? You worked hard, you studied, you did the all-nighters, you did everything. And yeah, but that's not manifestation. Manifestation, the way I think of it, is almost like it's kind of against the odds, comes together in an unusual way, unexpected way, magical. All right? That's what it means to me. So if you're learning with me, that's what I'm talking about. So write out things that you did manifest and then what method you used. As I said, I've shared this before, and I feel like, interestingly enough, I feel like Gregory might have been here. It was a couple months ago when I shared. And these are some of the options that I wrote down, the ways that one can manifest. I wrote 4 or 5 ways. A vision board. Many of us are truly visual. It's the sense we use the most, right? It's our eyes. We use that a lot. So a vision board can be a very powerful way of manifesting. Then I wrote, and this might strike some of you as weird. I'm looking at it, it's kind of like, I wrote L for, I just gave each a code. So vision board was VB, right? That's one of my methods of manifesting. Maybe that's one of yours. Looking at images. So I just put L. You'd think it's the same, but it's different. It really is just looking at images. I manifested that way. Okay. Then I wrote, writing, hold on. Shamanic. Shamanic, when I write shamanic, it means that I connected into either animal or plant life, right? Because I believe also we are all connected, right? We were all created by however you call it, right? And we're all interrelated. We're not like isolated, separate. Um, so shamanic is using communication or connecting with uh, trees, animal life, whatever. L is looking at images. S is shamanic. And then I have W for writing, like writing out what I desire. Okay. Or scripting, right? D is declaring mentally, like just literally being like, okay, that's it, blank, blank, blank. Making a declaration, declaring mentally. And then the final way that I have manifested is, oh, there's closing, ask a mental question. So I'll literally, like in communication with spirit, ask what I want as a question, like, how can I, right? Are you guys with me? Which one of these have you used, guys? Which one of these have you used? So again, when I turn my head, I'm just looking at my laptop where I can see myself, number one. Because basically right now I'm talking to the back of my phone, which is very weird. At least this way I see myself. I'm like, okay, I'm just talking to myself in my very acid green scarf. So Christina, B, Greg, if you're still here, Celestial, which one of these is a way that you manifest when you are trying to create something, right? All my high vibration people, I'm calling you in. How do you manifest? What do you do? So once you just note down how you have manifested in the past and when you have, so you'll have a list of like, say, oh, I met my husband, this way. It was like really weird and like offbeat, magical. It felt like a manifestation. And so write the times you've manifested and then write in code the different ways you've used. So then what I did, guys, here, I then, so in my case, let me be really clear. In my case, I went through, that's like eight times I've manifested pretty magically that were important to me. So like 8 different manifestations. And then I wrote how I did it. So let's just systematize. The whole goal of me talking to you about this today is when you have manifested your desires and been happy, been pleased, felt in flow with life, felt supported, what did you do? Okay? So I'll just give you a couple examples. Um, One for me that was huge was off the top of my head, I had the number 12,000. I wrote, I want to receive a $12,000 scholarship to go to school. And what I did in that case, right, so here you can see it's like $12,000 scholarship. And then you see next to it, it says VB. So I did make a vision board in that case. And so go through and just see what's your most powerful way to manifest, basically. How do you most often manifest? So again, I had 8 examples. I could find more, but 8 ones that were really like, wow, that was cool. That was crazy, right? I don't even know how that happened. Okay, 8. And then I labeled them. So in some cases, like one, the first college that I got into, not graduate school, but the first one in my family to attend college, right? So nobody was talking about it. I had no encouragement. I didn't know anything. I didn't even know anyone who had gone to college, guys. And so how did I manifest that? I wrote VB. So I made a vision board and I wrote L. So I was looking at images. So I did both of those. Do you see what I'm saying? So now I can look at my list and be like, this is how I manifest best. And I'm doing this because I'm kind of prepping for the class, right? That hopefully you'll come to, that you'll be attending, and really trying to systematize how I manifest. Because I think for some people, it's more I've literally, a lot of this I've done spontaneously. Like for instance, declare mentally. That was a spontaneous thing. I just like spoke it. And literally once. It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to speak this into existence. I'm going to repeat. It wasn't like doing affirmations. So some of these just came to me spontaneously and they worked. And that's because I think I have done this type of work in past lives, right? So the ones that are most, so let me know, and then I'm going to read your comments, okay, in like 1 minute. So my question for you is, when you have manifested, what method did you use? What methodology did you use? Okay, it's important. Because if you want to repeat it again, it's like a recipe, okay? So for me, as I'm looking at my list, I have vision board, which is funny because I really don't want to do a vision board like this time. I have vision board for most of them. It's probably the winner. Hold on, did I add it up? The point was to kind of, like I said, see which one you use the most. So vision board was really a common way for me because I am an artist. I'm very visual. The other most common one, it looks like I have S a couple times. So the shamanic, okay. That was also pretty powerful. So if you know you're not very connected into nature, then maybe don't, we won't try the shamanic approach because that's, like I said, connecting in with the spirit of trees or animals or even a place. So for me, it looked like vision board because that's sort of like the most common way. Everybody's like, yeah, vision board, though I teach a vision board in a very specific way. I also have a couple of times that I said L, looking at images, just looking at what I want. I find a picture of what I desire and I just like look at it and kind of get it into my head. Okay, does that sound weird? Have you guys done that? So not even making a vision board, just literally like I would go repeatedly back to like um, I wrote L here for Skowhegan. It's a actually a very famous art program for like young artists. And I remember so clear as day, and I even put vision board question mark. I don't think I did one for that. I might have. But I remember going to the website and just looking at it and being like, "Oh, it's so pretty. Ooh, there's that lake." So it's kind of like putting myself into it, right? So that's that looking. I'm calling it looking. But vision board. Oftentimes I'll do two different ways to manifest. I wrote Q, ask a mental question, ask spirit a question. Um, yeah. So it's also okay to use multiple methods when manifesting. All right. Let me know if you want to know more and what I would do. Okay, Christina. Hey, thanks for sharing that. Join my email newsletter, and they will probably get the first announcement of the first class. And I'll also end up putting it under the videos. Okay. So Christina says, yeah, thanks for voting, you guys, on that. B says, I write affirmations, I light a candle, and I pray. A stranger will gift me and my children an amount of money. Okay, okay. Um, okay, good, good. I write affirmations, I light a candle. B, write the affirmations, but then read them. Read them over and over. You can also, and this is for B or anyone, especially if you feel you're not manifesting, you need to do more. We have a subconscious. The subconscious mind will fight us. Okay. And that's where it does get really sad and can get really frustrating. Our subconscious mind has a program that was put in before age 7 for many of us. So I'll give you an example. My parents constantly fought about money, constantly. It was the bone of contention, right? And they said verbally very negative things to me about money, and I would see them fight and hear them fight about money. So that is when you're a young child, your brain is like it's like a blank. And I don't even like the word slate. It's almost like it's like a wax, like they can stamp the false beliefs into you, and you literally just repeat it like a robot. You just are like robotic, and you don't know why. So for B, when I see you saying you write the affirmations, especially now, we really want you, on your own, independent with a stable home. I would write them. I would write them over and over. Maybe just one you write over and over, or two, and then say them over and over. I think that repetition, what I'm getting at is repetition is really important. You have to literally override your subconscious mind. Okay. It's for all of you watching. You have to override your subconscious mind. And this is the time, as I said, there is a portal opening. This is the time. All right. Saturn is shifting. Aries is a planet of action, of like masculine force, actually. I mean, it's good to have that behind us. I'm not going to lie. So, and then Christina shares, writing it down, visualizing, asking. Okay, you do asking questions as well, because not a lot of people do the questions. Good on you. What made you like, how did you figure that out, the asking questions? Because I think it's a more, I would almost say advanced technique. But again, that's why I'm mentioning it, because different things might work for different people. But asking a question exactly, and then waiting. So visualizing, okay, yep, and writing down what you desire. Great, 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 great. Who else is here? Anybody else want to? Hey, I see the numbers going up. My question was, how do you manifest in the past when things have come through magically or smoothly or in an unexpected way, right? How, what did you do? What did you do to facilitate that co-creation? So let me see if there are new comments. All right. Levi says, hey, Levi. Levi said, let me put you up on the screen. All right. Levi says, I like to meditate, visualize, and ask for divine. Okay. So I feel like the asking, yeah, the ask, it's like, is it the mental question, Levi, when you say that? Yeah. I mean, it's funny. I didn't just put like prayer down, but I feel like I don't. do classical prayer the way like my parents thought of prayer. Um, for me, the asking the mental question is like a prayer because it's I don't just say help, I need help. Um, yeah, it's like an asking. I guess the cue could be defined as it's a form of prayer. That is interesting because I hadn't really thought of it like that. But it's like, yeah, I really am like, okay, I'm talking to the creator, the, sort of all seeing, knowing, understanding that I think we're all in, we're sort of within. So that's what I put as cue. I'll ask the question, how can I? And I might share my frustration. Oh, this is so hard for me, and I just don't know what else to do, and then I'll ask. So yeah, that is a form of prayer. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Meditation really is key. It's like I'm trying to step into the skin of what I want to manifest. What does it feel like? How do I move in it? But Christina, is that when you're saying you ask the question? That's how you're doing it. Oh, that's interesting because that to me sounds more like visualizing. Christina, right now, what I have on the screen, what you're sharing, is that when you're visualizing or is that when you said you're asking questions? Because that sounds to me like visualizing, right? When you step into the skin of what you want to manifest. What does it feel like? I do want to say also, Spirit was just bringing this up to me as I kept getting cards about past life abilities and training. The Egyptian mystery schools, right? This is stuff that, you've got to think back, like way back in the day, thousands of years ago. The average person, they had such a rough life. They weren't thinking about, ooh, how can I visualize what I want? Oh, I know what I'm going to do. Right? It was in the temples where the priests and priestesses, they would be trained in these methods. And so I think some of you, right, and we're coming from that background where in past lives we were the priests or the priestesses, right? Serving the divine, and we were trained in these abilities. So, yes, Christina, I just feel like, yeah. So, just saying this sort of ancient Egyptian lives, I think many of us did have lives in ancient Egypt. And again, such a long civilization. I mean, right? Yeah, you were there probably multiple times and in different, training facilities, working with esoteric secrets. In fact, Christina, I want to pull a card for you. I'm going to pull a card for you. Christina, yeah. It does seem like, yeah, like it's both. I'm going to pull a card for you, Christina. I feel like I'm supposed to. The problem is I don't want to knock over. Okay, guys, hold on. All right, because I have to read. Let me just here it is. Christine, I'm going to pull a card for you. And I like to sort of, towards the end of my lives, you guys, I like to pull cards. And I feel good about it. Sometimes the only thing I didn't like was when people who I knew didn't watch my channel, to be very honest with you. Sometimes when you start like doing readings, another issue I had was people would just come in and be like, oh, I want a card. And I'm like, wait, who are you? Seriously, they would just come in and never saw the name before, or just like they didn't participate in any of the discussion, nothing. And they're like, yeah, I want a card. I'm like, yeah, that's like, do you go to somebody's house and be like, yeah, I want dinner? Or like, yeah, I want a snack. Do you know what I mean? So, um, yeah, so that was something that also bothered me in the past, like couple of years back with pulling cards, is I would just sometimes get people who I felt did not respect the energy and the energy that it took. So this is for you, Christina. I'm gonna pull. And Levi says, and I'm so grateful both of you are here. This is nice. Levi says, yes, opening the way with inquiry. Exactly. Right? And then listening. Yeah. Again, our ancestors would do that because think of their lives. I'm talking thousands of years. I'm not just talking like, this always bothers me, especially to Black folks in my audience, right? This like some people like when I say the past, I feel like they immediately go back to like slavery. It's like, no, okay. It's like so what do I mean by that? When I say our ancestors, think of the vastness of history. Our ancestors, and to all of you, but especially to the African American folks in my audience, we have ancestry from all over the world. Now, it may be certain, but huge swaths of the world. So just open your mind, think about different lifestyles. And what I'm saying is, so our ancestors, everybody's ancestors as well, but I was just pointing out specifically to my Black audience, which is the majority of my audience, but not all, that like expand. When I say ancestors, go back, 5,000, you go back, and different times, different places. And we would have had a life where we were, whether we were hunting, whether we were, I feel like I'm channeling this, whether we were farming, even just hunter gatherers, right? Just, picking, not doing like agriculture. We would have had so much time to listen to nature. There were no airplanes. There wasn't, imagine how quiet it is when you strip away modern, like right as I'm talking to you guys, I have this clock here that drives me crazy. It's really loud, like you guys might even be able to hear it. The refrigerator is like a constant hum. Imagine all of you back in time when our ancestors had just nature sounds. My whole point was, how tuned in would they have been, right? Like if they were in a place where there were bears or lions, do you think they wouldn't know way before any of us would know that there was a lion 50 feet, 100 feet? Do you see what I'm saying? Because their senses were so pure or cleansed, right? Because they grew up hearing branches cracking, the rainfall, that was all they had. And then human sounds, songs, of course, speaking. Do you get what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, our ancestors, to Levi's point, they would have inquired, right, through whatever their rituals, their prayers, and then the listening would have happened. So I do think that's a profound way. Modern times, even here in Italy, not that I thought they didn't have cell phones, I was going to hold the phone and show you. I hate to see, I'm in this small town right now, and you will see the boys and the girls, they're just walking, not as much, right? There's still a little bit less addiction to like not reality, but I'll see them looking at their phone. Um, and it's disheartening to me again because I just know, I feel like what happened is an invasion of sorts. And because it's so, let me know if you guys follow me on this, it's so widespread that nobody really thinks it's weird. We literally have this object now attached to our hand, and it's so normal. People no longer talk to each other, like the vast changes that it's wrought. So to me, it's like almost the equivalent of an alien invasion. We all think, oh, aliens are gonna, you watch movies and then it's all weird and they look weird, they look alien. What if the alien invasion was this technology? That's kind of deep. Think about that, because it's so ubiquitous, right? Like we're just walking around with it. We've adopted it. It doesn't seem strange, but it's changed our behavior. You talk to your friends instead of face to face, you're going through an interface of a machine. We just can't think of a machine as like alien. But what I'm saying to you guys is, what if it were? What if it were almost a form of an invasion of like a dystopian future that it's wrought between social media, and I mean things like Facebook, like Instagram, where we see girls and boys like feeling inadequate, feeling unattractive because they're seeing these like fake people, and comparing themselves. Anyway, all of this Now it's time for me to pull for Christina because I feel like there was a message for you, Christina, and it is this card, and I haven't looked at. Wow, okay, what did she get? Lifting the veil? All right, let me hold that. Yeah, Christina, this is for you, Christina Williams. Lifting the veil. Questioning everything, Christina. Anything unaligned must go. This is a card really of purification, but at a deep level. Let me know if you resonate with it. Again, that's my thing too. If I pull a card for someone, I like to get their feedback. Let me know in the chat. I think I can pull for like 2 or 3 other people. Let me know if you would like a card drawn for you. I'm feeling really the Starseed Oracle, so that would be the deck I use. So, Christina, Starseed, lifting the veil, questioning everything. Anything unaligned must go from your life. So, what isn't aligned with your values or your belief? Let me share the inquiry with you. The inquiry is what isn't congruent in your life? So, you could ask yourself, what isn't congruent in my life? And I feel it. I feel like that is accurate. Something is just not matching with the person, the being that you are. And the second question, I see a comment coming in. How are you being called to bring it back to harmony? Okay, so there's some disharmony in your life that doesn't fit with who you are, who you want to be. Okay, this can be for all of us, right? Because we all have places in our life where things are not aligned. They're not aligned. I love this. They're looking out in this like space, this beautiful space and stars. Right? We are stars. Yeah, Christina says definitely. Okay, so I'm going to take your comments now. So feel free to put any comments in the chat now. Welcome if you're just joining. Um, hey, Donna, welcome. Donna says, I'm later than a little bit. I hope everyone's Sunday is beautiful. Yes, and you as well. You as well. The implications of cell phones and social media are completely altering the reality we live in. I mean, you see young people now, I notice it with them. They're not talking. Because this whole thing, this kind of goes against something that B was saying, the feminization of men. I think a lot of what's happening with men and boys is caused by the men primarily invented these games. Most boys now and a lot of girls, what do they spend their time doing? Playing video games that is not interacting with humans, that is not picking up social cues from humans. It's all gone, and they just are playing fighting games where they're killing people, and you think they're going to be normal. You think that letting our children spend hours playing these games in an artificial environment is going to help them as boys grow up, and no. Okay, so I'm sorry, I think a lot of this is basic. It's greed and lack of I do think parental control is lax, right? Because maybe the parent is on the cell phone or watching Netflix, okay, and the kid is just gaming for 5 hours. That's not normal. How is he going to talk to other boys? How is he going to feel comfortable around girls? How are they going to learn anything that is human through playing a game where they practice killing or shooting things down in an artificial environment? If that is so obvious, the military uses stuff like that to train. Like, that's different, right? Like, but it shows you how it works. Like, oh, we're not going to put you in a $15 million jet. We'll have you simulate it. So clearly it trains you to do that. So when boys especially are in these environments, then we think that they're gonna be happy when they come back to real life. That's our own fault as a generation that allowed that, and like I said, specifically parents. So yes, I'm off my soapbox there, but it's true. It's true. Thank you, Levi. Let's see. I recently watched The Matrix where AI began to farm humans, and Instagram kind of does that. Oh yeah. Oh, it does do that. Right. Well, it farms our attention, so it doesn't right? Like, so again, you got to look at the metaphors. So with the Matrix, the human body was literally like kept in like its own little bubble, right? But when you're on Instagram, it's taken your attention, so your brain is hijacked, which of course connects to your body. So yeah, it's not different. Your brain's hijacked. You're seeing these images. You're like, oh my God, she's so beautiful. Look at her waist. That's not her real waist, or she damaged her body to get her waist like that with some stupid ass thing she put on her waist, or she's anorexic, or it's just a filter. Like there's so many ways this could be very, very wrong. Yeah, I don't know. I think Spirit has also said to me, Viv, you should offer meditation for like teens. I'm like, oh, I don't know. I don't know if anybody would like register their kid and what if the teen doesn't want to do it. But if any of you are parents, I would really, really look at your teens' consumption of media and talk to them about it. It requires real hands-on parenting and like giving them something else to do and doing something with them. Maybe you have to go out for a walk with them and it becomes a thing the family does after dinner. They go for a nice long walk, they talk, or they play a board game. Like they do something that isn't the kid, again, for 5 hours in his room by himself playing a game, right? Where also he doesn't move his body. That's a whole other level, right? So then he's out of shape, depressive, because literally doesn't have enough like endorphins and all hormones from like moving his body and breathing. So he's depressed. He's playing games where he's killing somebody over and over. And then when he goes to talk to other teens, he can't. Can you I know you guys, you feel what I'm saying. It's just it's crazy. It's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Yeah, our data is the product. Absolutely. They sell that. Ooh, oh, she's vegan. Ooh, okay, let's show her some vegan leather shoes. Let's follow her around with like vegan meatballs around the internet. I mentioned that because I bought some vegan meatballs in Italy. They're pretty good. Not the best. It's funny trying different vegan products in different countries. I'm having fun trying that. Like, it's better in America. No, this one's better here. Or in the UK, I found something called what the Gluck. It was some vegan meat. It was really good, but I hadn't seen it in America. Hey, glass half full. So let me put up your comment. Hey guys, so nice to see you joining in. It takes YouTube like an hour before they like tell people. You guys remember I'm live on Sundays. God, Goddess willing. Okay. Don't make me talk for an hour before you show up. Like, oh wait, she's live. All right, so let me see what glass half full. I like your analogy. Yes, the distractions of today are so effective because we've forgotten how to quiet ourselves. Yeah, absolutely. And listen for the lions. But really, really in that analogy, yeah, right. The lions would be danger. So I'm glad you said that. I also meant to say listen for like the breeze, right? And the birds, because I meant the answer would come to them also. So thank you for that because I didn't finish that thought. It isn't just about, oh my God, okay, the lions are there. Though, of course, with our ancestors, how did Native Americans live with bears for like, you know, this is where the bears walk, okay? Start teaching your small child, okay? This is what you do when you see a bear, like respect, bear spirit, okay? Right? Or maybe 10 of us men are going to go hunt this bear. You do not do this by yourself. You see what I'm saying? But it isn't just about the lion or the threat. It's also being in what I also meant with my analogy was that being in nature, the quiet of the nature would allow them access to hear things and to whether it's their higher self, whether it's their ancestors, whether it's the land itself, which I believe can really speak to you. On that note, too, guys, I've been getting a lot of cards about, because I'm randomly traveling around. Um, the light grid, like the our body, sort of light body, and the energy grid of the planet. And so some of us, and some of you listening, because I don't know why I'm mentioning this, some of you listening may have that same calling like me, where it might be in your hometown, but you may be called to some random place on earth. You may be like, I have to go to Cairo. I don't know why I said Cairo, right? Or I have to go to Mount Kilimanjaro. Like, and your being there helps to activate the energy in that place. Okay. That's something I believe. And I have seen and felt that there's some sort of activation. Yeah. Okay, reading your comments. B says I can understand 2 hours, but more than that is for sure a problem. Two hours is precious. Oh, B says not the meatballs. They're pretty good. They're pretty good. I don't need to show you the brand. I don't even know. It's some Italian brand. Though having said that, you guys, multinationals, a lot of times it'll have like the text might be British or might be Italian, but if you really really look at the company, it's like Unilever or it's an American company, right? Which we'll see in terms of how countries are accepting America if because they were, but they may stop. Is all I'm going to say. Uh, okay, this is B's comment. The glass half full. It's fun you say lions. I'm a Leo and I watch Between the Lions with my 6-year-old, a show I grew up on. Cool. Yeah, B, that's funny. Yeah, that I was the one who mentioned lions. You might have been away initially, and then glass half full. Yeah. So you need to step into your Leo-ness. So B, I'm going to pull a card for you too. And Christina said thank you. Did that resonate though, Christina? That there's something you need to let go of that's not aligned, something, someone. It could be a thought pattern. It could be, yeah, it could be a relationship. Okay, this is now for B. Let's see, because I feel like for you, this struggle it's like a dark night of the soul. And if you use it properly, you can really grow from this. This is for B, who was struggling with homelessness with her daughters, and she's leaving soon. This card was sticking out. What does she get? Oh, Jesus fucking Christ, you got the same. Oh my God. It's the same card. Okay, so this is the theme of this live, you guys. You have been with me. Have you guys seen this? This is the same card that I pulled for Christina, but this time it was upside down. You can't make this up. I was shuffling. You guys heard me. I was shuffling and talking the whole time. I wasn't looking at the cards. I was shuffling and I have it down on my thigh and I'm like breaking the cards like this, right, as I'm talking to you. Out of a deck of how many, I just pulled the same fucking card. That is amazing. And sorry, not to take the Lord's name in vain. I forget how many, it's like 40 something or 50 cards. The same card came up. But interestingly for B, and B, this is not to beat up on you. You got the card reversed. When I pulled it, it was like this, which means you are having trouble letting go of what is not aligned. So is there a relationship? Is there a belief? There's something you really need to let go of. And that's the theme of this live, all right? That's freaky, you guys. I swear to you. I mean, I was just shuffling it on my leg, pulled the same card out of a deck. Hold on, out of a deck with this many cards. Wow. All right, let me turn that light on. Crazy. All right, let me see if it's weird. This like, okay. Oh, you can't see the light behind me. All right. There's this like really random kind of modern light. Okay, you can kind of just see. It doesn't show right, so I think I'm going to turn that one off. Yeah, I think I'm going to turn that one off. You guys, wow. So the same card. So this is a theme. This is for everybody then, all of us. We need to look at what is not aligned in our life, lifting the veil. So that means really looking, not being like, oh, I don't know. Is it somebody who's toxic in your life you need to let go of? Is it a belief? Like, is it a belief about yourself? Like a hold on, let me turn you guys back this way. Like a self-esteem belief or not good enough belief. But yeah, V, you got the same card. That is wild. That is wild. I think this has happened maybe 3 times since I've ever pulled cards on my channel. Maybe 4 times. I think one time, you guys, I pulled the same card 3 times. It was spooking me out because I was like, okay, what's going on? All right, we hear you. We hear you. Oh my God. Wow, wow, wow. Yeah, yeah, that is weird. Oh, and glass, yeah, you're a Leo as well. See, and that's another, okay. And guys, I am in Western. I'm right on the cusp. I don't like to give my actual birthday, but I'm right on the cusp of Virgo Leo. Wow, so V says, I don't know what QTNA means. If we do have exposure from radiation, how can we repair? Oh my gosh, this is going to be such a weird non-answer. It was something in Kundalini Yoga, specifically Kundalini Yoga as taught by Yogi Bhajan, okay, which is a very specific type of Kundalini Yoga. Now he has there's a lot of negative baggage around him. He was abusing women, the whole nine yards. He was a guru. But they had either a breathing practice or some sort of practice that I did years ago and I really felt it helped. And I know it sounds random, but I think I was going in for x-rays or something where I was worried and it was something very intense. And I did the practice and I just felt amazing. So just Google Kundalini Yoga, because I think it has radiation in the name. Radiation practice. And it will come up, I bet you. Okay? So that's for B. Because, yeah, radiation, 5G, but yeah, you got that card. So B, what is it you need to let go of as someone who's coming out of that struggle, questioning everything, anything unaligned must go. It sounds like you need to be a little more ruthless in what you cut out of your life. Don't allow things that are toxic in your life. Don't allow people who are draining or who are meaning to either harm you or like I'm just riffing on. That's what I'm getting. So, wow. All right, I'm going to put this back. Maybe I should leave it out. I don't know. I don't think it'll come up again because that would be weird. That would be really intense. All right. Let's see. Let me look at some of your. So B says, okay, wait. No, so now Christina responds. Christina says, okay, this is awesome. Let me read it. Christina says, yes, a thought pattern to learn to trust myself more. I have an affinity for question marks. I draw and paint them. Oh, that's so interesting. Okay. So the card immediately prompted me to create another one. The question marks, like maybe you're the answer. Maybe you are the answer to the question. Right? That's so interesting. So you are fascinated by question marks. That is interesting. I draw and paint them. Oh gosh. Okay, another Leo. All the Leos are like coming out of hiding here. Oriana. Okay. Hey. Let's see. B says, not the reserve. Maybe I'm focused on the wrong thing because I feel like I have been releasing. Okay. 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 Well, oh, not the reverse. You meant to say. You wrote not the reserve, not the reverse. Maybe I'm focused on the wrong thing because I feel like yeah. You just keep going. I think spirit is just there may be something you're not seeing as unaligned. Let me read the. Let me see if I can find it because now that I put the card back, you guys, because I really am just like channeling. I don't even remember the name of the lifting the veil. Okay, page 86. Let me read you some of what it says. Okay, this is the guidebook. Things aren't always as they seem. The era is one of uncovering mistruths so we can remember ancient truths. You're being called to energetically scan your life for things that may no longer be a vibrational match for who you are. Okay, so I think you were coming out of homelessness, you were in this shelter. Is there something that maybe reminds you of it that you need to get rid of? Or is there something that's triggering for you related to that? You have to really think it through because that's when you're going to get the best clarity. Let's see. Anybody else would like a card? Questions that need answer. It's okay. I've caught you live again. I'm so happy. Hey, who's that? Spaceman. Wait, Spaceman, and then ooh, is that Korean or Japanese? Look, you know what? I cannot tell. That script, just from the one, I can't tell. Oh, happy you're here. Let's see. Can someone tell me what was said about Leo? We were just noticing that there was a lot of Leos in the house. Often in my lives, it might be like a tight group of people, like might just be 6 people, but there'll be some real commonality. So today's commonality is this Leo seems to be really strong. I am basically a Leo in Western. And even like, you guys, when I had dreadlocks and I was younger, I don't know, well, okay. I had huge hair. My hair was huge and like my eyes went up more and they were like dramatic. So I looked like leonine. I don't think I look as leonine now. I'm probably the Virgo part of me is taking over, actually. Okay, so I'm shuffling again. That's the sound you hear. I am shuffling, okay? I'm not trying to pull the same card 3 times. So Space Nam, nice to see you. We were talking about getting rid of what doesn't really align with who we want to be. That was the conversation, and then the Leo thing kept coming up. You guys, so do check out. I am gonna very, very soon. I need to just buckle down and write it. But I want to teach about manifestation. But I didn't know if you guys were interested. My last live, give me a yes if you are interested in learning, in studying with me, um, in a group setting about how to manifest, okay? Because these are times where we need, it will be about manifesting, but also about how to listen to your intuition. Because again, as women, the divine feminine is about listening, it's about flow and a bit of stillness, all right, as well as movement. Um, so I think a lot of you are seeing like, okay, I think Viv can teach me how to kind of step into manifesting. So if you're interested, give me a yes, just say yes, and join my email list. Let me find it one more time. This is the last time I'm going to put it in. I'll put it in here for you. It's EE Pearl. It's just like a shortened, it is not like a weird link. It's not going to take you to like a gambling site or anything. I'm going to put it in the comments and just join my email list. What I'm thinking is I will do 4 classes on manifesting. I'm either 3 or 4. I haven't charted it out yet. I have taught this before. This is not my first time. I've taught it typically though in a longer session, and I feel like now with everybody like money being tight for people and there being a lot of fear, that 8 sessions is too long. So actually, in fact, all of you watching, if you were going to study manifesting with me, and especially those of you who were here, I think it was last live, who said you were interested, and my cards are saying people are interested. I'll show you one of the other cards I pulled today. This is a card of triumph, of people acknowledging and seeing your abilities and kind of, applauding. This is a very good card in a reading. Um, the 6 of Wands. It's sort of a celebration of your gifts by others. They see your gifts. And again, I'm tying that into this Saturn shifting. And that's why I'm telling you guys, this isn't because it's not about me. I'm telling you guys, you need to get clear because as I said, a portal is opened up, as the cards are saying, a portal is opened up. And I feel like what Spirit is saying is pairing that with me sharing with you the portal card, which I did at the beginning, this idea that anything that's unaligned must go. So maybe you smoke and that doesn't align with you, maybe wanting ascension and wanting to be more healthy, but you still smoke. That would be something you have to be like, you know what, I need to stop this shit. It costs me money. It's hurting my lungs. Maybe you have children and you smoke and the smoke is hurting your children. Okay, that's what happened to me. My mother smoked, okay, around me. From I was very, very little, I remember walking through smoke. Okay, she didn't know, right? But now we know. Now you know. So give me a yes if you are interested in manifesting. Yep, group setting, absolutely. It is Japanese. Cool, 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 cool. Space Ma'am or Space Mommy. I have to tell you, you guys, and just, yeah, to my community, Japan is one of those countries. Sorry, Space Ma'am, if you are Japanese, I just wish the language were easier. Your language is just too hard, okay? It's just too hard, especially for English speakers, because You guys know, and this is another spiritual tip, if you see something 3 times, if somebody tells you something 3 times in close proximity, spirit is trying to talk to you and tell you that. So I keep seeing like people talking about Japan and literally they step off the plane and they feel peaceful. I'm like, that's incredible. You step off, they're like, I'm in Japan, and they're just like, usually they're out of Tokyo. They're not in Tokyo. Okay. Or like I think there's like another city that's like super busy, but they talk about the peace. Now I know Japan is very tough for foreigners, you know, so I would love to visit Japan. Apparently the dollar is doing better. I really think I would love it. And Space Ma'am, I've always wanted to visit Kyoto, always, which is where all the Buddhist temples are, you guys, like beautiful, like temples. And in college, I was where I started kind of studying Buddhism and practicing Buddhist meditation with Buddhist monks. And so I would like to visit Japan, but I just feel like I can't live in a country where, okay, so Spaceman, you may not know, I'm in Italy right now. So I'm American, but I'm in Italy. I had a conversation, and that's probably how I'll close, just sharing some stories with you. I had a conversation with this like old Italian grandpa. Um, he's the dad of the person who is running the Airbnb that I'm in. And just because Italian is close enough, I'm gesturing and I have the phone and I'm like Google Translate. And then he's like, oh, and he takes it really close to his face and he reads it. And he's like, oh, or he's a little hard of hearing, you guys. So I play it and I put the volume up really loud. And then he's like, oh, okay. But I can't do that with Japanese. So if I go to Japan, right, to experience this peace and this, unique culture, I just feel I would be so overwhelmed, and the script is different. Again, Italian words are so close. A lot of times I can see a word and guess it. I can guess it either just like from the Latin, because for some reason I have this weird where I never studied Latin, you guys, because I went to public schools, poor public schools, but I just can see the root of a word and I can guess it. But with Japanese, right, again, it's just impossible. I just think I'm too old to try to learn much Japanese. Ah, okay. Spaceman says, okay, okay. Your mom is black and Japanese, and Japanese. Yeah, Japanese can be hard. Come on, can be hard, please. Japanese, Chinese, Korean. If you're coming from English, of course, like yeah, if I were Korean, right? There's overlap, I believe, and just again, it's close enough. Um, and I should say the same. So for somebody Japanese learning English, is a huge jump. It's like jumping across a canyon because it's very different. So any Japanese who learn English, like especially as in adulthood, you know, yeah, I would love to visit Kyoto. I really, 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 really would. I don't know if I will though, with just everything, the way everything is going. Italy is amazing. It is. So you guys, another thing, please consider becoming a channel member. I haven't limited it by gender. I think Levi is a channel member. Hey, Levi, thank you. Who else is a channel member? Who's here? B, I don't know if, no, B, probably not. No, no, no. Christina, are you a channel member? And they get certain perks. I don't want to go over again. Just click the join and you'll see what the perks are. Um, but thank you so much. It's a way to support the channel. And we also have a private live, which will be this upcoming weekend. But I also, for my channel supporters, I am going to make a short video. I started it already. I just do these little updates with them and like tell them where I actually am specifically and show them what I'm doing. So channel members, I will share probably tomorrow, like just a short video of where I'm staying and like the activity I'm doing because I'm doing this very specific thing that's actually really fun. I don't want to put that out like on the general internet at this point because what I'm doing and I've seen other YouTubers do and I think it's best is I just pretty much, yeah, I share like usually after I've left a place, I'll share about it. I still mean to make a video about the UK, what I liked and didn't like about the UK. I know I was supposed to make something about kidney energy. I know it's like all over. Hey, just a girl over 50 reinventing herself, right? Reinventing her life. Yeah, Italy is amazing, amazing, amazing. All right, guys, I've been talking for an hour and a half. I hope, and like I said, I may edit this, I may edit the beginning part and just from where I talked about how to manifest. So, like Spaceman, there's a certain point where I talked about manifesting. That was really helpful. How to manifest, how to find your way of manifesting. I will be teaching a course. How many classes I'm thinking 4 classes. I can cover really how to manifest, and what I would love um, when you join this is that you have something you want to manifest. So I don't want it to just be theoretical, right? And let me give you the title again. The title so far everybody is voting for is Aligned and Abundant, Feminine Flow for Fulfilling Your Vision. Um, that was of the 4 choices I gave. I like Dreams to Destiny, but nobody really was, well, not nobody. Hold on, let me redo and see what the vote is right now. Okay, 38% of people like aligned and abundant, feminine flow for fulfilling your vision. I know it's kind of long. The one I liked is in 3rd place, Dreams to Destiny from Longing to Having. I still really like that. I don't know. Here, let me put that link in. So this is just for you to vote and see, tell me which name you like for the program. So yeah, this will just be a class. I'll probably have 3 sessions and you can just register individually. Um, and I'm going to have that up very, very soon. But just vote for which name you like. Okay, so it's youtube.com at yogalistdance/community is what it is. So yeah, Spirit is telling me that, yeah, put it out there because just manifesting my move to Italy went through a lot. And again, it's not, when I say my move to Italy, I am what I would call slow madding. So I'm nomading slowly and they're definitely still figuring things out, but it has worked. Those of you who follow me, you guys know some really magical things happened, right? Like, I won't go over them, but a lot of things needed to align for me to be able to do it. One of the main things that needed to align is I needed somebody to be in my apartment, right? Obviously, like who wants to be paying like their rent and their like traveling, right? That would be double the expenses. So I knew that I couldn't do that. I didn't want to do that, right? And just really magical ways that everything fell into place, especially during a time period where everybody's like, no, it's going to be really hard because you're doing something at an off time. There aren't going to be people looking for apartments. Everything, it just fell into place. Um, and so that's one of my, my latest success. I'm going to read you some of my other successes in manifesting. So getting into a very good college, again, the first in my family to attend college, but also getting into a very, very good college, manifested that. And that was a vision board. And I did also do looking at images. That's one of my methods. Getting into an art colony is also quite competitive. I also did vision board and I wrote and I did the looking at images. Current apartment, I asked the question, which, like I said, I think that's a little bit more advanced method. That is Christina also was saying she uses. I'll just ask Spirit a question. Basically, it's a form of prayer. So my current apartment that was just way below market rate, I got a scholarship to go to grad school. I used vision boarding. Previous apartment, which was also again below market rate, I did vision boarding. Okay, I think I need to pull out a vision board, people. Another apartment, right? So housing all the root chakra stuff, I wrote W. So writing, scripting what I wanted to get also way below market rate apartment. And I also did shamanic work for that. I connected with trees. I know that sounds weird, but I did. Trees are alive, right? We're alive, they're alive. Um, this one's going to sound terrible, but I needed somebody to leave, and they did. And to manifest that, I wrote Q. Okay, asked the question and then declared. That one, that I used three methods. Or that one was really probably one of the most powerful. I needed somebody to like get out of my space, and I really just I sort of declared mentally what I wanted, and I was very clear on it. There was no hesitation or like, I don't know. I was very clear. So that declaration method. And then I also, as I said it, I said, so how can I do this or how can this be done? So it's sort of a combination. And then I also wrote shamanically for that because, and like I said, I don't think I've ever really shared this one. There's a shamanic aspect that like, stunned me. And they kind of left my space. Um, I place to live for free. This was probably after I left teaching with a nervous breakdown from being bullied. I wrote Q and D, so that was also question and declare it mentally. So you can see I have multiple methods that I use for manifesting and I can share with you. And also the preparation for this. I think these methods work. They work, but they need a certain preparation. So I feel like these classes are going to lay that groundwork and then teach the methods, but lay the groundwork to manifest what you desire, what you want to be co-creative with spirit. Because I do think, this is how I will wrap up, I do think that spirit wants us to be able to co-create with it. And again, this is not to say that disasters don't happen. There's karma. There are many different factors. But as a human being, I think this is the highest level, well, short of being enlightened, where we can be on the planet, be human, and yet be really in touch with our spiritual side is where it's like a co-creation, okay? So it's not to say that everything becomes perfect or that you never have any problems. But as I said last time, and I really mean this, it's like life becomes more like not quite like a game, but almost like you feel like you're playing. Yeah, you're playing a little bit. You feel just a little bit more like you're riding a wave or like you're surfing, like things are happening and you're kind of surfing it. Okay. So if you're interested in that, like I said, watch the space below, and I need to create a page and express your interest. Let me know if you're interested. Give a yes that you are interested in the comments. Let me know. Let me know what you're interested in manifesting. I know for a lot of you, it may not be to like go to maybe you want to move to Costa Rica. Maybe you want to have a baby. Maybe you'd like to be married. Like what are you wanting to manifest? I'd really love to know that. Um, like what makes you excited? What brings you joy? Um, oh, great. An Italian language school just replied to me. And what is it? It's a Sunday. It's a Sunday at 9 o'clock. Go figure. Okay. You know that well. Anyway, so let me know, and much love and blessings. And it was so nice to hang out with you guys. I'm going to relax now and turn the lights down, which I can't do while I'm filming with you because then so make like more comfortable lighting and probably do something relaxing and really think about how to teach in a way where I can teach separate courses. Like I said, the last time I taught, I think I called it Money Mindset Magic. It was like an 8 class program, and I just feel like I don't know if you guys are up for 8 classes at this point. It might just be too much of a commitment. So that's why I'm thinking 4. Okay. So let me know your thoughts. I really want to know. I want this to suit you. I want it to be something you want to take, that you want to invest in, and that helps you get, what you desire. I think what I'm going to do is show you guys it's 9 o'clock. Let me see if it's a nice sunset. Hold on. It's not like spectacular, but I think I'll end with that. I'll end with that here. Oh gosh, I'm so silly. All right, this is what I gotta. All right, hopefully this won't get cut off, but if it gets cut off, oop, did it? No? Okay. Oh, okay. I think it just had to like switch from being like, we're not plugged in. All right, guys. Okay, yeah. So yeah, I'm in a very minimalist Airbnb. I'm literally the second person to ever be in it, but it's like super minimalist. It's super clean, but super minimalist. I'll show you that. Somebody's playing loud music. If you can see. Did that show? So again, become a channel member and you'll see a little bit more about where I am and this really cool thing that happened in the town that I'm staying in. There we go. Wait, I don't want you to be like right up close on my face. Oh my God. Um, yeah, I had this really cool thing happen and I've got this project I'm working on too. We'll see if I keep working on it. It's sort of a creative project, especially as I said, because this energy, this portal is like, what do you want to create? Like, what life do you want? So, all right, on that note, I'm going to go, guys. And yeah, it didn't get cut off, and a bunch of you are still here. Let me read your comments if there's any last thing that I missed. I swear, I'm like the what's it in the fairy tale where it's like, oh, it's too hot, oh, it's too cold, or like, what was it? Or she had like something in her bed, and she's like, no, I feel it's too soft. No, there's something like she just what was that? Princess and the Pea. Princess and the Pea. That's what I'm thinking of. She was like super sensitive. Um, yeah, yeah. Nice to meet you, Spaceman. I think you might have come one time before, but I'm not sure. It might have been a while. Yeah, eight is okay. No, before you go, eight is too much for me. Okay. Yeah, I think that in 4 sessions I could do you know, I don't even want to call it introductory, but yeah, the basics. There's someone I admire who is more, what does she do? Is she doing like, so it's a little different, related, but a little different. And I noticed she was doing like shorter, like individual classes. For me, and I'm going to explain why, this is to know before you go. The reason I was doing 8 is because I really want to do in depth for people who really want to like learn like completely. But again, trying to listen to what works for the audience, I think that 4 sessions that you could just register individually also. The reason I don't like that is I'm like, oh, they'll take 1 or 2, but they won't really finish the sequence, right? So I, coming from the background of being a professor, we have like a curriculum, right? We want take you from A to Z. What I'm realizing is maybe people just want to go from A to D or A to F, whatever. And they're like, okay, I'm gonna run with that and I'll come back. So I get it. I get it. I get it. All right. So nice to see you guys. Know before you go, Spaceman, Oriana, all the Leos that were here today. Really happy. Yep, yep, yep. Oh, and yeah, let me put, no, I hadn't seen this comment. Oh, you're preparing for travel. That is awesome. Awesome, awesome. Know before you go, where are you going? Do you feel comfortable just sharing that? And I'm sure you still want to manifest more, right? Again, I'm going to define manifestation because this is important to me. If we just do step by step by step and we get what we planned for, paid for, I don't quite call that manifestation. Manifestation, the way I'm teaching it, is when it feels like you have the wind behind you. Like yeah, like you're sailing your little ship and you feel like spirit is behind you and working with you to facilitate. That to me is manifestation. It's just a higher level of creation than the, as I said, the more masculine approach, which we're trained in, which is you take step A, B, C, D, okay? And then you do your homework and then you do this and then it happens. Manifestation has more the quality of a little bit of magic, a little bit of, yeah, that wind behind you. Donna, you're Leo rising, okay? Okay. So guys, go to your favorite astrologer because definitely this, what I started this with, the that Saturn is going into Aries is really big. So please check with an astrologer that you know you like um, about this. It's talking about Saturn and it moves today. It moves into Aries. And so it's a big deal also when Saturn moves because Saturn only moves every 2.5. They're saying it's going to be there 3 years, but I think it moves every 2.5 years. Is that right, guys? I know it's at least 2.5 years, I believe. In fact, I'm 99% sure. So when Saturn moves, it is kind of a, and especially because it's this punishing planet. Having said that, for some people, if they really have learned their lessons and they've really got their life aligned, Saturn can actually bring blessings. So it also can bring like great things, growth in business and popularity, and it can bring wonderful things. It's very much about sort of karma and learning. So it's not to be feared, but any of you who are interested in that, just go to your favorite astrologer and see if they're sharing about Saturn moving into Aries and it also um, being conjunct with Neptune and how all of that, because I do think it's going to bring some big shifts and it's a big opportunity for us, for spiritual people to kind of take charge of their lives. All right. And before I go, let me see, because I saw a comment coming in. Okay. Much love. Peace and blessings. Have a beautiful week. And remember, I usually put out a video either Wednesday, Thursday, so twice a week, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Sunday live, typically. For members, I will be putting out a short video to update you. And please do consider supporting the channel. Many of you have been here since 2020 where just being on my channel helps you get through COVID and through that whole lockdown. And so um, your support is vital, wonderful for just supporting my continuing manifesting and teaching and sharing with you. So much love, peace and blessings. Bye.